certainly drawing on your own experience, I find fascinating and very, very compelling as well. We've got time, I think, for probably 2 or 3 questions to Brandon before we move on to our next speaker, Mr. Young, who came to Brand. But he's pretty here. He is very excellent. So we can have, we've got time for 2 or 3 questions now. So you can fill us in at the back.
Jack Frost. I would like to address the point you raised, which I find is quite often made, which is that to have the press involved and reporting would somehow result in all sorts of scurrilous information being disclosed. I have to say, it's absolute nonsense. There is absolutely no reason why people who are giving evidence, supposing evidence, is opinion, against parents in a court should be identified and their reports publicized with the anonymity applying to the children or family if they wish. Now, I was involved in a case. The pediatricians provided false evidence, false information, and they knew it. So did the social workers. We were awarded costs against Essex County Council, and we're not allowed to tell anyone about it. So my daughter goes to her school, which is Chelmsford County Grammar School. The children know something happened, but there's all sorts of nudges and winks. Had it not been for John Hemming, who brought this matter out in the Commons on the 16th of November, I wouldn't have been able to write about it. Now, we took the doctors to the GMC, pediatricians, who then provided false information to back up their stories, but as it was before Henshaw v. GMC, where they were allowed to submit their information and make sure that the complainants didn't see it. So the GMC then decided not to proceed because they had this wonderful defense which had been signed by another 2 pediatricians. It was completely false, essentially, but we didn't get sight of it. Because we rattled the cages and made a lot of noise, we then got copies of this, which I can now tell you about. We then took this to judicial review. Justice Collins sent it back to the GMC, and unfortunately, because it hadn't reached the disciplinary panel, the GMC was allowed to sit on it and not take it up again. But this business of the press not being allowed is absolute nonsense. Why shouldn't they be allowed in if the parents and the child wish it and the child is giving competent? The only reason it's not done, if you don't mind me saying so, you're from the British Psychological Society.
Excuse me, I'm not from the British Psychological Society, I'm psychologist. I'm a member, but I don't necessarily agree with everything that the people
Right. Let's get it clear. The experts who are taken on by the family courts are not checked out. I was checking somebody who, in fact, within a 2-year period has received over £400,000 that I'm aware of. These are true documented, and she admitted it. I was trying to figure out where she qualified. Can't find this out. She won't give me the information of all of it. I then contacted... Yeah, okay. What I'm getting at, actually, is experts, these experts, and it applies almost across the board. None of them have been checked out for the CVs that they are portraying in court. The court service says we allow the local authorities to check them out. The local authorities have confirmed to me that they rely, let's say, in the case of the British Psychological Society, for the British Psychological Society. The British Psychological Society says when they register with their first degree, that's it. But these people are now claiming PhDs and all sorts of wonderful courses. It's absolute balderdash. Unless we know who these people are who are providing these opinions in court, they will continue. And we do know we've already had a precedent where some of the people in court have been caught out when they've come out in the criminal court. So that's what I said. Let's get the...
In large measure, I agree. I think that because somebody is a social expert, doesn't mean they are functioning experts in a particular field. And I think those people that might be to which I refer.
I just wanted to say...
we just have someone from the front.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, it doesn't seem to matter if you have academic qualifications or not. It doesn't prove competence Quite simply, I went to my case about myself. I was in care, abused badly in local authority children's homes, took my case to court, proved it, but my case was thrown out of court on the time limitation statute. The judge was an academic man that simply didn't care about myself and the other adults who were abused in local authority care also. The way to deal with this situation is to allow the press into courts, because otherwise behind closed doors what you have a bias, and usually judges who have themselves committed very serious crimes against children.
Okay, I certainly think one thing about bringing the press in those circumstances was the sort of constraints that you mentioned. People who have put forward false CVs or who have invented PhDs or other qualifications and who obviously have been economical with the truth will be exposed very quickly. They wouldn't dare do it. You had a very, very quick point to you, Robert.
Yes, I did, and that is, we also have to bear in mind with the problem we have that the American political they have a similar regime, a different problem, and that is judge patronage. So the judges can appoint the experts they want in some states.